Okay, we're live. So today we are back drawing sprites, and I think actually I'm going to start with the heroes. And we'll just start drawing them. We don't have to get it perfect, so this is generally how it looks. I separate the hat from the head so that we can easily reuse things. And yeah, it sort of seems to work out pretty well. I feel like this guy should have some hair, right? Hair on the sides. Kind of looks a bit weird with just the hat. Well, okay, so I am actually going to open up heroes. Really? Ah, I see. Yeah, because I think the other heroes are in the other sprite sheets. All right. Well, let's change that. Or no, let's not change that. Let's just carry on, sort of with what we have. Okay. So then I get my little list open of heroes, and let's draw our priest. So I will want to open yeah, can I open, so it's Piscal's a really weird app, the way kind of windows work, and for some reason I can't just double click something to open it. Okay, so we're going to take our basic head, pop that in, and yeah, we'll just copy that one time. And right, the priest. We can have a quick look at our other priest. Although I think the other priest is pretty straightforward. Yeah, he kind of gets some bags under his eyes, and he gets some eyebrows, which go a bit longer. So I would I guess what this guy would look like is the next step from there. So we can give him and I want him to be quite a stern looking guy. So Sean is quite stern, our protagonist. So I will take, again, yeah, it just doesn't quite read input sometimes. So I would want to bring it in just one. And then like that. And let's give him a big old nose. Again, pipette and then nose. And a beard. What is this color supposed to be? I think that's just our sort of standard gray. It's easy to change. I just want a color. So yeah, a beard. And so these guys don't evolve, so I have to just kind of draw him how he's supposed to be. And yeah, I mean, I'm not very good at drawing, as you can tell. Beard can actually hang over, because I feel like he should have a beard. Although I feel really, what I need to do is pause and redraw, so that I can always Control Z what I did. Yeah, like a long beard, kind of like Ming. And I guess there can be like a small gap for his lip. I find that tends to look good. Like that. Yeah, okay, and then paired with some eyebrows, so they can be a bit thicker and quite droopy, but not that droopy. Yeah, that works. Okay. And I think the bags under the eyes for the priest worked, so I'll continue that. So I'll just grab this color over here. So yeah, he's already starting to look kind of how I envisioned him. Bags be even higher. What if we went even higher? No, that's kind of a different look, although that does make him look more stern. So yeah, let's go with that. I don't know why, but that somehow makes him look more stern. Looks kind of serious. And then hat. So like we go, this one goes white hat, red hat, so it's like priest. I mean, really the Pope wears the white hat, doesn't he? But anyway, priest, cardinal. I don't know. I don't know the priest rankings. Let's give him a bit of cheekbone. If that will look good. Just a little bit more face to him. Does that make sense? Not sure that makes sense. Although it does just kind of make him look older. Let's go with it. Let's have it. And I don't want to copy and paste the hat, I don't think, but I guess it would be kind of like this, but like white. So I'll do get a bit of inspiration, like priest hat. And let's go fantasy priest hat. So more, I'm getting Final Fantasy images. Yeah, you got to respect the costume designers in Final Fantasy. They made like a sort of chic-y, stylish Pope hat. It's quite cool. I mean, I think we're just going with like something similar to this, but in white. So we have this big old, see this one that I'm seeing here kind of covers the forehead, which kind of undoes my lines, but maybe we don't need the lines, and I need to make sure I'm on the hat layer just because it makes life easier. And yeah, we'll do a line like this. From here. Is that right? Yeah, like right above the ears, right above the eyebrows. So it'd be like here. Yeah, we can go one space above the eyebrows. Okay, I'm going to use the line tool. the shape of it. It's be quite a bit bigger. So yeah, we have to go right to the top of the sprite. Although generally, as a rule, I never use the outermost sprites because I think sometimes that can like lead to like bleed into the other sprites for some reason. Okay, and then we will make that white. Should be off-white, but white is fine for now. Well, that is off-white with like a gold trim. Yeah. So let's find some kind of gold. Maybe not straight up gold, but like sort of gilded. I don't know. What does it look like if it goes straight up gold? What if it's like gilded? So we have the sort of outline with like, let me have a look at this reference. So yeah, this is the one that I'm referencing. So it's got some like gildy patterns on it. So how does that actually end up looking? I like if I just copy that straight up and then do a diamond. That just kind of looks like mess, doesn't it? I think that's a level of detail too high for this kind of game. But I do think maybe gilded with like, what if we filled this in and then got the white back and did something like this? Just to give it a bit of something, you know? A little bit of something. Because the flat gold, I think, is a bit too and maybe one across the middle. No, because then it looks like stripes, but this kind of looks like a sort of the outline of the pattern. Okay, and I think he should have some hair. So if we sort of... Or is that part of the hat? So the hat would be like this. But then the hair, if he had like longish hair, it would kind of poke out. I just feel like he needs that longish hair just to kind of... I feel like hair tells you that a character is a hero. Like if there's... Except for the witch, if there's more emphasis on the hair, that's kind of what lets you know that the character is a hero. Okay, we'll just fill that in. Maybe I should just do it. I'm going to do it on this layer. So the fill works as expected. So yeah, like a bit subtle, but just enough to sell the fact that he has hair. That just kind of looks weird, although it does fill him out a bit. Yeah. I think that's basically him. I mean, if we compare it to this guy, it's like, yeah, they both feel like they have as much characterization. But one thing is I think we can do better with the eyebrows. And make him, because we wanted him to be stern. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, that's way better. And what if we went like a bit more hardcore with... So he really looks quite old. Kind of tempted to give him... No, like a bit of wine nose, but I think that's overkill. Yeah, he's got kind of like a jowl here, it looks like. Yeah, I think that'll do for our priest. I don't want to spend too much time on these things. Okay, so then we need Jack, the rogue. So again, if we kind of take our existing rogue, and just kind of amp it up a bit. So quite like the idea of him having an eye patch. We don't have any characters with eye patches. This would be a good place for it. Yeah, let's do that. And then the next question is, should he have the hood? Let's give him some, like, should he be blonde? I feel like rogue leaders should be blonde, maybe. I don't know. No, let's give him like dark brown hair. Yeah, okay, and then hair. Or hood even. So I can go with, I can grab this. But I feel like it's a bit cheap for him to have exactly the same hood. It's on the edge here. Yeah, I think that's probably fine, actually. It's the only one who does that so far. He just has the same hat as his kind of small unit counterpart. They both got character. Stern, kind of cheeky. But I guess we want to give him a bit of age as well, or maybe that's like... Maybe that's not what we want to do. So give him some sideburns. I'm thinking of like spiky kind of hair. Should it be coming over? I've gone and mixed the layers a bit. It's fine. Doesn't matter too much for the heroes. And then what feels better? Should we hide the strap under the hair? Yeah, I mean that looks like Crowbar McPherce now. There's a character from Blacksmith, and I quite like that. Beard looks funny. Yeah, it's Crowbar McPherce, basically. Yeah, I'm happy with that. That's Jack. Let's not dwell too long on each of them. Jack. So we've got Jack, Rowan, Beanie, Sean. Great. Let's do the orcs. So I think Orko, this is our war chief basically. Like he's not going to be called Orko anymore. Although he doesn't look like a chief, does he? He doesn't look like a chief at all, I don't think. So we can have a look. Let's make yet another of these. Well, actually, I think we're kind of done with the humans for now. Did I save anything? Did I change anything? I don't think so, but let's just save it anyway. Okay, so let's import green beans. And so here's our chief. So he is very much your standard kind of orc. And let's compare that to orc. It's basically the same. It just has a helmet. I'm going to copy from here. And yeah, do orcs have hair? Yeah, kind of. Sometimes. Do any of the orcs that I have so far have hair? I think the Firestarter does, or the Shaman does. Yeah, but that's fire. That's not really hair, is it? I don't think any of them have hair, so we might stick with like orcs don't really have hair. Maybe a little bit. How do you get across that this guy is the chief? So we can have something like his helmet. Yeah. I can struggle with this one. War chief. He should be like... subtly different, right? I get that so wrong. I should just use like a mirror tool or something, but I don't think it's quite that simple. It's easier just to do it again. So yeah, he's like a bit different from your standard orc. But basically, he is just the sort of archetype. So yeah, let's do his eyebrows. But like, I would say, compared to other orcs, he's a bit more refined. And I would also say he is not battle scarred. He has not been hit. So we just take an orc basically and just make it a bit more refined. But at the same time, I don't want to make him like look lesser than the other orcs. So this is tricky. Let's give him a slightly different color. Darker, paler. He still doesn't quite look like the chief, does he? He looks different. Like if you compare these two images, that's definitely not the same orc. His nose. Looks too human. Okay, and let's just go ahead and completely redo the mouth, because we want it to be like... Again, more refined, but like bigger. You know, like less jagged, but like larger. So like nice big teeth. It's more like a man. No, I think he looks less. I think his teeth are wrong. He looks kind of lesser almost than the other orcs. So the teeth should always have... should come out a bit there. Streams have been very dead lately. Like before I was getting like the odd person join. Even as high as like 6 or 7. I guess it's the morning streams aren't as popular. Feels like his mouth shouldn't be open. Maybe I got the mouth right here. I feel like that's better. Remove layer 2. Hello? Okay. The eyebrows are better. So there's a couple. So I think actually I do kind of want to keep. I think that to see this is good. Why am I not able to draw this today? I think I'm just going to keep that, but I'm going to change the hair. So let's. And I think it's good that it. Well, actually, I like this color. Yeah, let's keep that. But we don't need the hair because we're not trying to reference that character from Blacksmith anymore. Yeah, this just looks good. He just looks different. He looks more mean. He looks more serious. It's hard to tell exactly what's... I mean, his teeth are smaller, but I think that kind of makes him more like how did he get to this rank with smaller tusks? Yeah, kind of... Not, yeah. Less emphasis on symmetry. Okay, but it can't just be that. I guess he's got to have the chief's hat, but I should modify the chief's hat a little bit. It's a bit funky that the horns are the same. I think the teeth here, the horns are made of like his father's teeth or something. Okay, but let's get rid of the scarring. This is a pristine helmet. This guy is the chief. Wait, I think I've accidentally... Yeah, I pasted that onto the wrong layer. Do I want to get rid of this? No, I would rather... keep that just in case this is bought, and then here we take in our helmet and we're popping it on him, and once again we're getting rid of this. I'm just thinking, okay, what makes this chief's helmet different? More spikes. Less spikes. Different shape. Oh, I've done it again. Right. I mean, it is different already with this. See if I can get some inspiration. Orc War Chief. Like, I like the look of his face. What if we did like another helmet from scratch? So I'll just copy that over into a new layer so that we still have it. Okay, so I want it back. Get rid of this one. And let's just kind of do it again from scratch. feel like this is it. I feel like we need something here. What if it was another just another tooth? Yeah, I think that works. I'm going to kind of move on, and we can always come back to this, like I said before. We want to get it just kind of close enough, or at least like serviceable, because we might overhaul the whole thing. We might redraw every single one of these sprites. I might hire someone to do it for me, but I just want to get it across. I guess my goal this morning should be yeah, that kind of looks a bit better, I think. My goal this morning should be to, and we should delete those. If I can get like the orc heroes done. Is that right? Should it be coming right off the tip of the hat? Or should it be coming more like from the middle? Let's save that. And let's do it again. Or just ooh. Yeah, except is that better or worse? You know what? I'm gonna move on because is that better? Shall we take the beard? Yeah. Okay, the beard kind of balances out the spikes, I think. Yeah, okay. What about the color for the helmet? Could it be like... Yeah. Yeah, I think that works. The slide looks a little bit funky. Yeah, I think that works. Tiny little hole here. Let's just fill that in black. Yeah, he looks like the chief for sure. He's got the harder eyebrows. Yeah. Okay, next up would be our warlock, but I'm going to take... Oh, did I just... Yeah, I think I did. So the warlock is going to be an orc, I think, rather than a goblin. Whoa. Should the warlock be a goblin? I should do a session of like naming the characters. I quite like to use like Mordor language translator. God, I love this. So, one ring to rule them all. Ashnazgu Durb Ululuk. What about Chief? Kral. Kral. Krual. I like that. I'm going to pop that in the mirror. Krual. Because it sounds like cruel as well. I think that's really good. And then what about warlock? Okay. Wizard. Dushatar. Magic. Dush. Okay. Lightning. Zap. Demon. Dagul. So wizard. Dushatar, like magic. Dush user. Dushatar. Works. Oh. Some OBS nonsense. Yeah, I think that's fine for now, Dushatar. And then, what does glutton mean? Fat. Dagan. Or like, chef. Cook. Pick. 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 That's a great name. Pick. Wait. And I'm just using this translator here. Pick and loot goblin, like loot. Rat. Pick and rat. Oh, this is quite cool. Pick and pock. It's like pick it clean, like pick pock. So like treasure. No, really, you don't have a word for treasure? Gold? Lure. Pick and lure. I think pick and pock. Pick and lick. Pick, lick. Does anyone actually want to play as Bebop and Rocksteady? I think so. Yeah, pick the cook. Chef Pick. Luke Goblin. Luke Goblin is... really loot? Rat. Stuff. Treasure. You really don't have one for treasure. Damn it, Tolkien. Pick. Kazam. Pick and pock. No, they shouldn't. I don't want to make their names like go together because I don't think anyone wants to play as that sort of like Crab and Goyle, you know. Pick and pack. Ring. No, that's good. Lure. Pick and lure. Lurker-pull. I think lure is fine because it kind of sounds a bit like loot. Lure. Pick and lure. Okay, that'll do. So we have names for them now. So next up is pick and lure. So we've done 3. And yeah, he looks like a chief. And now we want our sort of Gul'dan-like character. So I'm actually just going to have a quick reference to him. I mean, yeah, he's got that hood. Sometimes it's pointy, sometimes it's not. He's got his beard. I mean, he kind of looks a bit like that. Yeah, and I think he should be a goblin. But like, how would he look different to this? I mean, he's got to be a hero character. He's got he uses his tongue, like, so what if he had like his tongue hanging out? I mean, we can use this as a baseline. We can sort of get rid of this and give him some nice, like, I think the hood we can like redo. So yeah, let's just take like, let's take this, put this and get rid of this. But now put this on that layer, and let's have another crack at the hood. Make it a bit different because we don't want it to look exactly like this. But like a bit more pointy. draw over the beard for now. So we get the shape of the hood. Okay, and then let's get that sort of purple colour, like darker, almost black, I guess. Is that right? That bob feels a bit weak. Let's redo that. So we go like, maybe we just don't have it. Maybe it just goes straight up. Yeah, I think that's a good look. Let's tidy it up a bit then. Okay, and then we can think a bit more about this. So this is wrong. This is not the right face. I think I should like draw him from scratch, basically. So we have, yeah, I can always copy that again, but I'll just do a dupe and then get rid of him completely. And actually, no, not completely. Yeah, completely. But we'll do a bit of onion skin, just so I can get the parts. So yeah, I think the eyes are largely going to be the same. So let's just copy them wholesale. Draw this circle so I can get that, and then he's gonna have like, he's gonna be smiling. That looks kind of creepy. kind of loses his Gul'dan feel, but I kind of don't necessarily want to just copy. This is a hero. This is someone that the characters that players are gonna. I want players to want to play as them. That's my reminder for my appointment tomorrow. Yeah, like I ended up making this guy look like Gul'dan, kind of like a goblin Gul'dan, and this guy means I have to kind of do it different, and I kind of wonder if I should just reverse that. Like this should be our like hero, and then the like because this I don't know, I'm not sure about that mouth. Like that sort of like grinning versus not grinning. And then like how much shadow? Like we should have lots of shadow. Huh? Oh, for God's sake. It's the problem with working in 2 layers. Probably don't really need to work in 2 layers. Okay, can always redo the mouth. Yeah, let's redo the mouth. So we'll just copy this and just grab that mouth and redo it. Maybe he is an orc. Smiling or not smiling? Thin mouth or thick mouth? skin color exactly. Eyebrows. Or no eyebrows. This guy's not fucking around. Seems like that's his vibe. I mean, he looks cool now. He's got a vibe to him. Don't know if goblins should be like... Should he be smiling? Yeah, that's a bit better. No, it's too distracting. What if we just... It's kind of fine as it is there, isn't it? Don't need to... I feel like it should... It's like incomplete, maybe? Got my pods in so I can listen to something while I do this, because I don't know if my commentary is that helpful. Yeah, no, that's whack. That's whack. Oh, we're on layer 2 now. Yeah, so let's just delete. Delete, delete. Does that look good? Yeah, I mean, he's definitely doesn't look like that. He looks much more refined than that. And he looks like he's sort of got the same sort of angry grimace, but he's trying to hide it a bit. Or he's like better at hiding it. He looks a lot more scary, a lot more sinister. Sort of Goblin Gul'dan, I guess, yeah. And then, okay, one thing that's always nice is... So we take our... This. Is that the right colour? Is that too dark? I think the colour for Warlock is purple. We can go with something a bit brighter. Just a tad. and then give it the shade. A bit more of like a detailed shade than it's a horrible shape. I need to think about this. So his beard's casting a shadow a bit. Okay, I'm quite happy with this. Okay, should we have any of this? I've already done this a couple times, but like maybe just at the top of his eyebrow here. Just to like, kind of like it's catching the light a little bit. Yeah, and that somehow makes him look more even more sinister, doesn't it? Yeah. And the point, I'm quite happy with this. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that shape. Maybe it can be more pointy. Yeah. And yeah, I think that looks good. I think that works. It sort of has the look that I want it to have, I think. Oh, let's do shading on his nose a little bit. So we go back to layer 1. Yeah, okay. Just trying this out, give him a bit more shade under the eyes. Kind of just give him a bit more gravitas. Set him aside from the other goblins a little bit more. Like he just looks serious. But then there's that very subtle little smile, like he's up to something. He looks serious, he looks like he's up to something. This one's way too wacky. This one, yeah, I'm feeling it. Oh. Yeah, I'm feeling this. Does that diminish him? No, I think that was fine. I'm kind of thinking about this line here now. Do we need this? Is that better? No, I think it kind of almost like his moustache is kind of almost catching the light a little bit. Yeah. Alright, again, I said I didn't want to spend too long on each one. I feel like this guy could have a bit more going on now, actually. Just with shading, it adds a lot of just some shade from his helmet. Looks good. That eats the eyebrow, that eats the little dents I have for the eyebrows. But yeah, I think the shadow from the helmet is a good idea. Yeah, it's a little bit more depth. Yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with this. Okay. Alright. Let's just quickly save that. And now, some of the more silly ones. So these are major characters. These are like story characters. We don't have to, like, these are not, so I guess I put a little bit less effort in them. I feel like I'm getting better as I go today. But yeah, I mean, these kind of get the point across. This guy's obviously some kind of priest, he's very stern, he's old, he's wise, and this guy's clearly very much a Jack the Lad kind of rogue character with a bit of age on him, bit of gravitas, bit of rank. So yeah, I'm quite happy with these. Okay, I think we can get rid of these guys. Yeah, and the pointy hood's cool. Should he have ears poking out? Like these guys? That's a good question. Ears poking out. Like, how would that look? So it's usually from above here. Maybe just like very small ones. And the last thing actually is that the so the skin color should be a bit different, but let's just use this one for now. Yeah, slightly smaller ears than your average goblin. Like that, and then we'll do like, what color, because it shouldn't just be the same as the normal warlock. What color skin? I think like quite pale. Maybe even more on the sort of purple side? No. Maybe more on the, yeah, he's already on the green side. So almost like a human skin tone. Darker. Yeah, and that kind of gives him more contrast. Okay, I think this is my best one yet. I'm not sure. It might be my worst one. I don't know. Is that very pale color? Is that working? Could the pale one also be a bit darker? Just a tad, just a touch. Split the difference. Yeah. I just feel like maybe adding a little bit of line here. I feel like this may be coming in too quickly. That's just distracting. Okay, yeah, okay, good. Okay, like I said, don't want to spend too long on each, but these are our two head orc characters. You've got your strong leader who wants to do right, he wants to win, he wants to do well for his tribe. And you've got your conniving second in command who kind of just wants to profit from war and doesn't actually care about losing good orcs. He just wants to, like, he doesn't even care about winning. He just wants, like, he's been offered power by the demons and he just wants death and destruction. So he's going to send his leader into battles that he can't really win. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he looks very sinister. Kind of looks like a vampire as well. And we've got, yeah, characters. They look like what I want them to look like. So that's good. They get across the little bit of character that I want them to have. Okay, so the next one is Pick, who is a goblin. So we're kind of modeling him off this. And this is a chef. Maybe it should be an orc. I don't know. Maybe I should make him look like Gordon Ramsay. So this character is like a chef. So completely fresh frame, and we need our sort of reference point. Are we doing chef? I mean, yeah, we're doing chef. What I mean is, do we want goblin or orc? Because I think sort of 2 orcs, 2 goblins makes sense. But then a chef character seems more like a goblin thing to do. And then, oh, we got, what happened there? What's that all about? Okay. Is there, did I see like a stray? Yeah, there is a stray pixel there. Pixel art, just changing the name of the stream. Yeah. So it's like a fat goblin. I mean, just because they're a chef doesn't mean they're fat. Or should it? Or an orc. All I know is that the deal is... So this is like a glutton. That's different. That's obese. I want it to be... Yeah, like stage 2 here is about sort of... and basically this is like a chef character. This is like... So they're going to wear a chef's hat. Just because I'm quite proud of the chicken build in this game. You can do a chicken build. So straight away, without further ado... Is it a goblin or is it an orc? I think it's okay to have 3 goblins and 1 orc as the hero roster. Because orcs are rarer. And they're sort of... I mean, the fourth one is a loot goblin and should just 100% be a loot goblin. But the chef, I am thinking maybe more like an orc, actually. So we can take just like our drummer as a baseline. We can just take this standard orc as a baseline. Did you not? Okay, let's just delete and then, yep. And I'm actually just going to get up. I'm going to see if I can, like, make him Gordon Ramsay coded. Gordon Ramsay. Can I do, like, Gordon Ramsay as an orc? So how do I make something Gordon Ramsay coded? I'm going to get Gordon Ramsay looking angry. Which picture of Gordon Ramsay should I do? So I'm going with this one. You see that all right? This one. Kind of like... So I think what it comes down to, so if I just take this and start, hello, start just doing that, and actually, yeah, like the thing with heroes is you kind of do just want to, like even if stuff ends up looking the same, you want to just draw it again, just so that we're not like a lot of these between the units, like it's okay if these just perfectly match, but we can do a bit of onion skin to... Oh no, we don't have that. Okay, so yeah, the mouth should be here, and we are just going with a stern mouth with a slight downturn. And then teeth, because he is an orc after all. Like, there's a couple ways of thinking. One is like the Gordon Ramsay code. The other one is like, what would a orc chef look like? So the other direction here, and we can kind of do both. I mean, I'm no artist, but what if we said, let's give him a massive mouth. Like a really big mouth. And quite big tusks. Bear with me. Let's just see where this goes. Let's see where this goes. And then eyebrows is like... What do I mean by that? Yeah, he's not angry like the other orcs. So they've got these big upturned eyebrows. I think this one's just... Yeah, like he doesn't look harmful, does he? I don't want him to look too harmful. He's a chef. His whole thing is he's probably going to start with like... I don't know if he should start with the healing wand. Like the chain heal. I mean, he's already kind of got some character. He looks a bit kind of dopey, and I think we should give him the rammers. The rammers very strong forehead lines. One more. And that tends to be how you get these kind of like weird characters. Is like, so we're not doing Ramsay. Ramsay doesn't have a giant mouth. Got a bit more of a round nose. But I kind of want a bit of that energy. He's got a slight bum chin, where he's got like some stuff going on here, so we can kind of do that, like a sort of dimple. What does that denote? Like he eats a lot. Because he's got. If we could do one of these. Yeah, he's... Okay, yeah, I'm getting vibes from him. I'm getting vibes from this character. That's generally a good sign. I don't know what vibes I'm getting exactly, but I'm getting some vibes. This kind of looks like a belly, which is kind of funny and weird, but it's also just kind of me trying to mimic this sort of Ramsay mouth. It's bizarre. It's fucking out there. Like, maybe this should be more of like a side character. Maybe I shouldn't have a chef character as one of the starting orc characters. I'm just thinking of the story as well, and the way I have it so far is that like when you play as the humans, you play as Sean, and then you choose whichever human you want to play. And then when you play as the orcs, you choose whichever orc you want to play, but you have to start by playing one of the like side orcs. Maybe we can change that. But the side orcs are like really boring. Like I don't want to have a character that's like, oh, I'm the one with the club and I'm strong and I do a big slam attack. I've got 4 characters per faction and I want them to be interesting. Okay, it's time to give him his chef. Oh no, his chef hat's gonna mess with his eyebrows. Never mind. No eyebrows. That his folds. So let's take, yes, we want our black and chef hat. Again, is that too silly? Should we be thinking more like should we be thinking more like because the loot goblin is also kind of silly, but I think also kind of fits. Like you're playing as a goblin, might as well be like a loot goblin, right? Like this is just too silly. Maybe, I think, you know what, I am actually going to go back to the drawing board a little bit on who these orc characters should be. I love this. I want to keep this. I think it kind of looks like Orc Gordon Ramsay. And I like of course I like the idea of having a chef orc character. Like I think that's fun. I think that's cool. I think that is the kind of game I want to be making. However, this is just too silly. It's just too silly. It's way too silly. I'm thinking a little bit about what was it? The Warhammer and chef. What was his name? It was like the Warhammer something paunch. There we go. I'm kind of thinking of this guy. Like this sort of glutton orc / goblin who kind of, and in Warhammer, like he goes around with a cauldron and you can like, I haven't played this update, but you can, he kind of goes around with a cauldron, you can cook things in it. So maybe this works, but not with the chef's hat. So let's just put a pin in the chef's hat. And let's say, let's go ahead and make him a bit more angry. Because otherwise he just looks too silly. Let's change his colour because he's sort of too similar to another one, and I kind of need to think about what colour we want. So we take this green and kind of on the same hue, also on the same kind of parameters, try and find a hue that fits. We've got Drummer, who is kind of like yellowish brown. But like this guy looks like a joke side character. It's kind of nice to see them all together. Should I start? I'm gonna start on pick. I'm gonna start on the on Lure. What did I call him? I'm gonna start on Lure, the loot goblin. So already the loot goblin that we have is kind of like he's got like a Donald Trump wig and everything. But like, if we just took like this one, and said, let's iterate on this a bit. So let's take the color, and let's make him. How do we turn this into a hero? Because we already have Loot Goblin as a character. I really like the idea, and again, maybe I should go back to the drawing board. But I really like the idea of having a Loot Goblin hero, who, when you do a special, spawns a bit of loot. But that doesn't mean he has to be like a Loot Goblin. And also, I haven't got a weapon. So like the loot sack weapon is great for goblins. It's great for allied characters, but I think as a hero weapon doesn't really fit. So you know what? I think I am actually going to go back to the drawing board a little bit on that one. These two characters. So I love these characters. I love the idea of playing as a chef, and I love the idea of playing as a Loot Goblin hero. But as with all things creative, especially game design, you have to learn to kill what you love for the good of the cohesive whole. And I think we can maybe do it a little bit better here. But I'm so here I am on my mirror board. So here's all of the stuff, and here's my heroes. I kind of need to translate it into this more detailed one. But yeah, we have the name now, Cruel. And what was the other one? Cruel and Dushata. I think those are great orc names that people, if they are in the know, if they know the Black Tongue of Mordor, then they will go, ha! I know what that means. And it immediately tells you who they are, if you do. So that's good. Okay. So yeah, I think gameplay first. So the war cry that gets all allies get crazy, attack speed, that's great. And then massive chain lightning, or like a storm or something, and then chicken or loot. So if we weren't doing this kind of Loot Goblin and Chef, if we kept those, like we've got Innkeeper Jim over here, and I've a mind to like give him a chef's hat. He's from all the secret characters are characters from my other games. That's very I don't know, maybe that's egotistical or something, but I like it. I want it. I'm gonna do it. Because this doesn't interrupt the story, but like you have started the game, you want to play as an orc, you haven't unlocked the two orcs that you like. These are the orcs that you really want to play as. But like when you think orc, so we have like we've got our like warlocky character. Maybe we need like shamany character. So like shamany. Shaman. Like what are the characters that are, so we can go ahead and look at what. So I think this is the thing with game design. It's like you can sit there and armchair design all you like, but once you actually start making it, let alone playing it, you just kind of realize that some things don't quite fit, and you need to kind of go back to the drawing board. And I really think with games, like it's an art form, more like it's art and science, but it's still art. So yeah, we've got Warg Riders. I mean, that's not really a thing for a hero. because what they have is they just have like a wolf's head on a stick, which just is a visual thing, and they go fast, and they have a machete. They're quite scary because they do a lot of damage. I might need to nerf the machete. We'll see. Blade Master. So like we can be a strong orc who isn't the chief, who does some kind of like melee attack. But that's the thing. I don't like these. I don't like. So this one buffs and heals. That's great. Heals everyone, buffs them. It's very human. It fits. And then the dash also works really well. Arrow rain works really well. Summon works really well. We could have one that summons. Because everyone else... Oh, they did. Not anymore, I guess. Has one that summons one way or another. Whether it's reviving enemies, summoning them, bringing enemies to your side, or just, yeah, summoning. Orcs don't have any of that. We've got a weapon which is the Goblin Lobber, which kind of does that, which does what it sounds like. You throw a goblin at the enemy, which does damage, and then spawns a goblin. Just a standard goblin. We have our Glutton, which is very much our chef. Our loot goblin, our warg. Do you really want to play as a warg? Again, the claw isn't a weapon that's available to the hero, because I just don't think that's worth it. It's 10, 11, 9, and 10 in terms of how many weapons each character has, or more like 20, 22, 18, and 20 again. And Warg Claw doesn't fit there. We can give it to allies. We can say, okay, here's a Warg, give it Warg Claw, and it basically just functions like a dagger. And then, yeah, everything else kind of fits. We have our character that does a big resurrection. We have Dark Sean, who just summons because it's still Sean. I could, if I was to change that, I would make it like the opposite. He kills rather than summons. Or like empowers himself somehow. But for now, I think summon is fine because it's basically the same character. Then we have Felicity does Blizzard, and then Horseless Headman is like, that's another one that we could change later, but I think it still kind of fits. Then yeah, we have a debuffer. So like, what are the sort of typical, like what hero orcs can we have? They're not really going to have an impact on the story. Our story is complete, and it has all the characters it needs. So these two orc characters are basically, I was talking about this yesterday, it's Bebop and Rocksteady. If you've ever watched the Turtles, they're just goons, villains. I'm thinking of like, I guess I could think of like Warcraft orc heroes, but like again, yeah, you've got your I mean, we could have that's why I've put Shaman here, because our chief is more of a what's his name, the fighty orc, and then we've got our Thrall kind of character, Gromash, Hellscream, one of the Hellscreams, and then we've got our Thrall type character, and in this case, a Shaman is more to do with like fire and healing. So what would that look like? So like Shaman, massive, chain, heal, and buff. So he's kind of like our priest equivalent. And then can we bring back our Mordor language translator? Black speech of Mordor. And what about shaman? What about priest? What about healer? What about heal? Shirog. Shirog's a good name. Shirog. Shaman. And yeah, Shirog's a great name. So that leaves one spot. We could still have the loot goblin. I think the chef, I like maybe it's just the way the character looks. So if we just had more of just like a fat goblin or a fat orc, and then and then their weapon, it could just be like a club or a fireball or something like that. It doesn't have to be like a cooking pot, you know. And then we can have yeah, I mean, maybe that does work. Maybe that does work. But then that's a heal. The chicken is a heal. So then that means that orcs kind of have two healers. So what if the shaman did massive, and then we've got massive damage, massive war cry, could have like a death metal, like a music themed. Yeah. The shop is here. Do you want me to help you? Or?
No need, but just so you know, just like it's 11:15.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, maybe a character that's more ranged focus. So he would be using lightning. This would be our lightning master. So you would start with train lightning. Your move is lightning. So you're going to be kind of leaning into that. And then you've got your shaman. So the loot goblin, I think, is a non-starter, unfortunately. We can still have that as a move, but is it a loot goblin? I think more in terms of move. So like spawn chicken. Excuse me, creaky floorboards. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we can have a loot goblin hero who spawn. The thing is, that's going to be a nightmare to balance as well. Who spawns like a thing? Could be a chest. Could be like he'll spawn a random item. Like my thinking is, we want maybe like a really brutish character, plus a really brutish character and a really like conniving character. So yeah, Pick and Lure, I think maybe is still our names. And then yeah, massive chain heal and buff, spawned chicken, spawned loot. Like could be a chicken, could be a chest, could be a bomb. Like it's quite a cool move. So I think we should keep that. And then spawned chicken could maybe be like, I'm kind of just going back to where I started, and I'm thinking this, but without the chef's hat. So he would have, like... Let's look at our other characters. There's our drummer. What kind of helmet would he have? Just to kind of make him really feel like a hero. Yeah, I think I'm just going back to where I started. I think we do. I do like this kind of configuration. Let's have one that spawns. Oh no, would it make more sense just to have a character that does big melee damage? I mean, that's kind of what the chief does. And it does it in an interesting way. Is there some way that they could summon units, but like goblin tosser? Like just tosses a bunch of goblins around. I think Shaman is non-starter. I think like massive chain heal and buff doesn't really work. We've got our buff, and if we're spawning either loot or chicken, I think spawning chicken is weak. And can we call in Tosser? Tosser and Lure? I don't know. Let's get some more Tosser. Toss. Throw. Caster and Lure. Yeah, okay. Throws a bunch of... So it's like... how is this different to just a normal summon? Like, it's obviously, if it's just goblins, it's not going to be better than a normal summon, because you're going to want just, like, more of your army. But what if he summoned, like, random units? That's a bit awkward, because we don't want to be spawning in. Just the way that object pooling works, it's a bit awkward. But I like the name Caster. So, like, Lure spawns loot, and it could be a chicken, and that's fine. And it's like a crazy little goblin. He's very conniving, very scheming. And he can just, and it could be a chicken, it could be a chest. It makes it harder to, like, think specifically of a chicken build, but that's fine. Chicken is a bit silly. Spawning random loot is kind of fun and crazy. And he's not a loot goblin per se, but he will be a bit yellow to kind of make him match the other loot goblins, and he's going to have the full crazy look, like full nutcase goblin. I think that's fun. Okay, yeah, so full nutcase goblin. So that's easy. That sticks. We're keeping that. But spawn chicken? That's got to move. And then, so what's special? So throwing a bunch of goblins around, I guess that's kind of fun, but... Big debuff, meteor rain, sacrifice. So these are all about like killing your units to make yourself stronger, charm to like bring some other units, and then a big debuff makes sense, and meteor rain because we need at least one of those. And so that fits. That's fine. I don't have any problems with that. I'm a bit wary of big slash, but I think it's okay to kind of counter the fact that he's got two summoning heroes. And again, it would be like the rogue. It would sort of be a bit quicker. So maybe we have something like that. Again, maybe we do just do the chef. So the Lure can spawn a chicken, but Pick always spawns chicken, and more of it. But lure can spawn a chest, which is pretty OP potentially. So again, we're kind of landing right back where we started. And then this guy. So I just need to think of a hat for him, I guess. But maybe not a chef's hat. Maybe that's too silly. But what if it was like a spiky chef's hat, right? So we could take this, so like smaller. Like that. And kind of, I don't know what color. With like with like the teeth coming out. So like 1, 2. Yeah, now it's like less silly. Like you can still tell he's a chef. But instantly I think this is like a bit less silly. Yeah, and he kind of looks like a dum-dum. Which is very sort of bebop and rocksteady, isn't it? Yeah, I think that works. And yeah, we'll get this color, do the shading on the teeth up here. So it's kind of like a chef's hat. So yeah, we're kind of back where we started in terms of, I mean, it's not like I did think about it when I first did it. It's just I think it's always good to question yourself. Say, actually, was I nuts when I came up with this? Too often I see all kinds of devs that they just get attached to bad ideas, and that's fine. But you have to be ready to like kill what you love sometimes. I remember when I was much younger, I was quite inspired by this, hearing about in Terminator 2, they actually filmed an entire scene where you had the Terminator and Linda Hamilton, and they were like patching up their wounds. And they were doing it in a mirror. And in order to make the shot work, like without seeing the camera in the mirror and all of that, and to have like the effects of like to sell the sort of the injury, you know, there's some visual effects there. They had. Should this be jagged? No, it's fine. Yeah, maybe it should be jagged. Yeah, let's jagged that up. So they filmed this whole scene with, I think it was Linda Hamilton's twin. She has a twin. And an animatronic of the Terminator. I think they did get to use that animatronic of the Terminator of Arnold Schwarzenegger somewhere else, so it's not a complete waste. But basically, they did this whole scene, and they got Linda Hamilton's twin. Yeah, that looks better with the spikes. I think we should do it up here as well. But they filmed this whole scene, and it was a very difficult process. And you know, it was this kind of cool idea that sort of this point in the movie really helps sell the kind of realism. And it's like, oh shit, like people are actually getting hurt and all of that. And it's probably like this kind of interesting emotional moment where the Terminator's like doing some first aid. I think that's what it was. I might have my details wrong a bit. And anyway, they cut it because it didn't work. It didn't work with the flow of the film. Despite how cool an idea and how much effort they put in, it just didn't click, didn't work. Once they got to the editing room, they were like, great, looking forward to putting this scene in the film, and they tried to put it in the film and it didn't fit. And I remember, I think it was Ridley Scott, and he's like, yep, you have to learn, you have to know, if you want to really be serious, like you can't just, you have to put aside the blood, sweat and tears and your sort of super excited, maybe stoned or whatever ideation, and just be able to you know, just say, no, actually it doesn't work, it's not actually good. And I think often that is the difference between an artist and an egotist, because a lot of people confuse those things, I think. Yeah. Well, anyway, I didn't have to do that today. I thought about it. I went back to the drawing board. And I kept what was on the drawing board in this case. Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit funny looking. I don't know. Could I do better? Can we do better than this? I'm sure we can. But today, like, I just kind of want to get the base clay molded, and then we can go and do the fine tuning. But like, yeah, we've got some characters. You know, we've got our brutish orc, who's like a bit silly and cooks, and that has mechanical value to the game. So pick, you're back in. You're back in. Yeah, this a summoner. What would they summon? Would it just be they summon? I just think that's not in the orcs. That doesn't feel very orcish to me. And also, bear in mind, our loot goblin dude can actually potentially summon, because he could get a can of beans. So yeah, we'll take this guy, and I'm gonna actually I have to go. I have to go in a minute. But let's get a slightly paler, darker, like less offensive. Offensive in terms of like, and yeah, we're gonna go full nutcase with this one, I think. So except for the eyes, I'm gonna delete everything else, and I'm gonna have fun with this one. So it looks like we still have quite a lot of stuff to do. We may or may not finish the heroes today. But I'm just gonna keep drawing sprites. So if you want to see more, I will be back at 1 o'clock for some more sprite work, which should be fun. So yeah, thank you for joining. Thank you for watching after the fact. I hope you enjoyed this, and I will be back at 1 p.m. Thank you very much. Bye.